Howdy there, folks. It's Glenn with the Cactus Atlas here early in the morning in Boulder City, Nevada, about to head home. It's our last day of this epic road trip that we've been on. Well, my friends, it's kind of a bittersweet moment. I'm excited to be headed home after such a long time. Excited to see my wife, my cats, have a break. But at the same time, I am sad to end the trip. It's nice to be free. It's nice to be out away from everything, away from technology for a little bit, to be off the grid, as they say. We're out here in Boulder City before the sun has risen above the horizon. I love this town. I love every time I'm out here. The lighting, everything just seems to be magic. Everything seems to pop out here. The beautiful lit up signs and the gentle sun. And the city is awakening. People are coming out to go to work or already working. And I will be back here one day. Another really good stay at the Sands Motel. All right, well, I need to return the key. I've checked the room a couple times and did not detect anything forgotten. So we will do the key dropping ceremony. You guys ready for the key drop? Room number 4. Another room stayed at here at the Sands. All right, room number 4. We're gonna be backing out now, departing Boulder City to head home to the Phoenix area. Not looking forward to that hot heat. Although I got a really good dose of it here, probably just as bad, if not worse, yesterday. I don't know what the temperature was in Phoenix yesterday, but I think I saw it get to 116 up in these parts. It's beautiful in this early morning light out here too, isn't it? I love it. Bye-bye, Sands Motel. You treated me well once again, and your price was the lowest it's ever been. We'll just admire the clean streets, we'll call them. Not the mean streets, the clean streets of Boulder City, Nevada. Right outside of Las Vegas, which is a little bit too much for me. But this is just my speed. You got a historic town, Hoover Dam history, and coffee. Let's see if there's still coffee here. There used to be a Starbucks right over here. I'm choosing it, not necessarily because it's Starbucks, although I do like Starbucks coffee. I'm choosing it because it's right here. I'm actually gonna park over here to get out of here easier because it gets pretty crowded. This is a weird one. They don't have a drive-through. You have to go in. Most of them have drive-throughs, of course, but I guess we'll have one last coffee together. Okay, I got my Starbucks coffee. I'm not fancy. I just get the Pike Place black. No room for cream, no room for sugar. And I actually got myself a breakfast sandwich, sausage, egg, and cheddar. But I want to find a nicer place to eat it. So I think I did. I think we'll try to see if we can get down by Lake Mead, the lake formed by the Hoover Dam, to start off our day here around sunrise. But I don't know if that faces east. It might be a sun blast to the face, but we can make it work. So what we're gonna do is try that. I'd rather eat my breakfast staring at a nice landscape rather than in a parking lot. And it's only 10 minutes down the road here, like 6 miles away. And it fits in with the theme today. Kind Kind of doing a switch up though. I was gonna do a different activity to start the day. I feel physically ready to do it and wanting to do it, but it's more of a time thing and I guess the heat. Like it's right now, it's in the morning, so, but it's already 88 degrees. 88 degrees, my friends, at 6:30 a.m. Almost 90. And the sun's coming up. So I figure even a hike now would not be very pleasant, and get ready to see the lake down there, but the sun's probably going to be kind of in our face too, but we're going to deal with it, friends. We're going to deal with it. But there's a hike around Hoover Dam that you can do to these historic railroad tunnels. I think the railroad was like there between like the 1930s and the 1960s. And it was there to service the construction of the dam, is my understanding. And there are these really cool tunnels they bored through, I think 4 in total, that you can hike through. And I've never done it. I just always don't have time in my itinerary to do it, so I figured I'd do it this morning. But like I said, the problem is I underestimated how hot it was going to be. And not only that, I didn't realize from the trailhead, the tunnels are pretty far on the other end of the trail. So it would be like a 7-miler, like round trip to go see them all. So something I would be capable of doing, but I think time-wise, and wanting to, anxious to get home to see everybody and have some time left in the day to move my stuff in the house, it just didn't. I just thought it through logistically and thought, let's go a little easier today. I earned it anyway. But I do want to keep up the fitness and continue to be active after this trip, not to go back home and sit on my butt and program software all day long. I need to break it up with some activity and exercise. This trip really showed me how important that actually is, how it actually gives you a lot of energy, for real. I mean, we know these things, they talk about these things. It's not like something I think I just discovered or figured out for everybody. But I guess it's more for a reminder for oneself. But look at the lake. It is beautiful. I knew we'd get a good view of it going this way too, so I wanted to come check it out. Alright, it's hard to see my turn, but it should be coming up here shortly. Lake Shore Road. I think this is how you get to the train tracks, not the train tracks, but the old train route. They removed the tracks in the 1960s, is my understanding, so there's not actually train tracks here, but that historic train tunnels hike, which is more often, I think, portrayed as a biking trail, like for bikers, like mountain bikes. I don't know, maybe street bikes can do it. I don't think it's paved, but it's probably a nice manicured path. That would be ideal, I think, but anyway, look at this beautiful lake morning here. One last washboardy, bumpy road for you, though, too. This is a much better way to eat your breakfast, though, facing this. Maybe a little to the left, away from the sun. Fishing Pier parking lot. I see another Chevrolet Colorado down this ways. I guess you can just drive down here and pull up, huh? I guess you can. We will find us our little spot here. And I'll kind of face off to the left, I think. I don't remember that pier being here the last time I came down here, though. All right, let's just take a bite of this sausage, egg, and cheese and cheddar sandwich at Starbucks. I've had them before, and they're good. They're good. What do you want from me? And I'm heading down the shore a little bit. I just left my coffee in the car because it is really hot already. The wind is hot. So it's, I didn't think it'd be too pleasant drinking a hot coffee in this hot wind. But I think I noticed something that I've never seen before from down here. Pretty sure I see that trail, the historic railroad trail, and probably where the tunnels are, to kind of get an idea. There's definitely like a railroad grade, like halfway up that mountain, like here. You see that? That like tan line, and it kind of cuts into the rock. That must be the trail, huh? If anybody knows, confirm, but it's kind of cool to see it and understand it. And if that's it, you'd get really good views, I assume, of the lake. I'm gonna have to come back. This is one of my like frequent haunts up here, so I think I need to come back in a more reasonable time of the year to go try that trail out, when it's not gonna melt the skin right off your bones and singe the eyebrows off your face. Kind of hot. I'm just surprised how, when I got up, how warm it already is. Just a reminder of where I'm going to, Phoenix. So it's a tough pill to swallow after having been up to the likes of Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, you know, waking up some mornings when it's 32 degrees outside. It's a whole different kind of problem, I guess, though. Numb fingers versus hot heat, but I'm at a point in life where I'll take the numb fingers every once in a while over the hot heat, I think. And there are many ducks and birds enjoying and thriving on this man-made body of water. You can see the marina also out that ways. Just giving you some lake views here early this morning in August the 13th of 2025. All right, well, I think I got what I needed out of this, which was a place to enjoy my breakfast sandwich that had some views. So we'll kind of check that one off the list. I didn't want to spend too much time down here, but we will head up to our next spot, which is a little bit more dramatic and cool, right up the road, and I can get a couple sips of coffee in before we do that one. So let's go do it. There's a gentleman that is here picking up trash. He doesn't appear to be like an official like person doing it, just a good Samaritan probably, but I can tell you, people trash this beach. It is full of trash. It's really disappointing. I don't know why people are just so lazy like that. There are like places to discard. There's a dumpster right here, like just feet from the beach, but people are just pigs. Some people are pigs, I should say. I think a lot of them aren't, but some just don't care. I don't understand that. Google wants me to make a U-turn. All right, fine, let's do a U-turn. We'll go back to the beach. I guess Google doesn't want to leave. I don't mind leaving here this time just because it's so dang hot. I know I'm going from hot to hot, but at least the hot where I live does have AC, as did the Sands Motel. I was actually pretty chilly in that room. That little wall-mounted thing did a really fantastic job keeping things cool in there. Never felt like, you know, some older buildings like that, sometimes the insulation, the temperature control is a little tricky, but not there at the Sands. That I kept it like an ice box. They had it set to 68 degrees when I arrived, so it was already nice and cool. And I had to like bump it up in the middle of the night because I was cold. I was like, woo! Felt like I was camping again. I think our next stop does not require going through like a checked entry like you would for Hoover Dam, if I'm not mistaken. We're going to the Mike O'Callahan, Pat Tillman Bridge. I probably have filmed it at least twice, I think, in my Cactus Atlas career. I did an episode once that was kind of like trying to craft a historic getaway at Hoover Dam, where I combined the historic, I think it's the Boulder Dam Motel is what it's called, right down the street from the Sands. Very fantastic place to stay. Oftentimes reasonably priced also, but a real piece of Hoover Dam history that dates back to the era that had many famous people that stayed there. So I did that. I did Hoover, and there's a museum inside the building, which is fantastic. I did the Hoover Dam and Hoover Dam tour. Probably came down to the beach here in the episode. So I was trying to show how you could, maybe if you're from Phoenix or Vegas and you wanted a quaint little weekend historic, history, an experience bathed in some cool history. Those pairings, I think, were amazing. I'd like to do that again sometime. I had a really good time on that. So I know I filmed the bridge on that episode, and then I probably filmed it on another pass-through in the area, because it's remarkable. It really is. What you're about to see, if you haven't seen it yet, is maybe the best, I would argue, the best view of the dam you're going to get, the best photo op for the dam you're going to get. And I like to go back over the years and film it, because you can see where the water level has been or where it's going based on the coloration of the rocks. You can kind of see, unfortunately, we live in a time where it's probably, if anything, getting lower and lower and lower and lower because of drought conditions and lack of rain in our region. I'm assuming Vegas is having the same problem that we do in Phoenix. I don't know, but I like to just film it, because then I can go back and compare, each year and say, is it the same? Is it different? So we're gonna go observe that. I'm melting. It's so bright. It is really bright. Probably pointless to film, but there's a hotel and casino at the top of the hill. I think the Boulder Dam Hotel and Casino, if I'm not mistaken. I always wanted to stay there, not for the gambling or whatever, and it's probably, I don't know what it's like, if it's probably not the nicest. It's probably okay, but it's probably more like a Vegas Strip type of joint. Smell of cigarette smoke and all that is kind of what I'm picturing. I'm allowed to bust on smokers because I'm an ex-smoker. It's been well over a decade since I quit, though, and it is possible. It's not easy. A very addictive thing, cigarettes, but I don't give people a hard time about it. I think people should be able to do what they want. My only stipulation is don't throw your cigarette butts out the window, especially in the desert. I think you should be thrown in jail for doing that, to be honest. If you were caught, I think the penalty should be very severe. And I'm gonna pay attention here. And don't lock people in a car with you or a truck. I used to work in the moving and storage industry, humping furniture, as we used to call it, moving furniture. You'd be stuck with the truck drivers in the truck. This is before I was a smoker, in high school. And you'd be hotboxed by nicotine smoke. It's just when you're not a smoker, if you got kids or something like that, I'm not going to tell you how to raise your kids, but think about that. Think about, you're harming people, and it's just not pleasant. So those are my only two things that I ask. I don't even care if you're smoking outside, or I was even fine if you were at a bar or something and people wanted to smoke. That's fine with me too. I don't really care. I just don't want it completely in my face, but I'm trying to... Hoover Dam, where's the bridge? There we go. Hoover Dam Bridge walkway. Sweet. I think we're going the right way. Something doesn't feel right to me. something about this area, the color of the rocks, it's just a really dark chocolate brown, almost like black at times. It's beautiful. Now, of course, I say that you can't see anything, but with the sun shining like that, as well, you can see some, but or maybe the GoPro's doing a good job filtering out the sun a little bit, better than my human eyes can. But it's just such a cool area. Like, I've explored it, you know, driving around down here. I've explored it on foot. I've explored it on kayak. I guess we do have to go through the security checkpoint inspection. I do have a drone, but I know you can't, you're not allowed to fly it here, understandably so. It's been a long time though, so I'm a little rusty remembering how to navigate down here and where to go. I don't know if they have hours for this here with this checkpoint. You know, maybe I do see like a green lit up sign. For some reason I thought the bridge was outside of the checkpoint, but I must be incorrect. Autos to the left. Autos to the left, to the left. All right, well, since we had to go through all of that, basically they do a quick inspection. They ask you if you have any firearms. Those are not allowed. I do not. They ask you if you have a drone. I do. And I told them I do, but I said I know I'm not supposed to use it. And they said, cool. So I've been advised. And then they had me pull over to the inspection lane, and they have you open up the bed of your truck. And as I offered to pop the tonneau cover off because it's full to the brim of junk, and they didn't care. He's like, no, no, no. He's just like, open it up, and he kind of looks in, and then they wave you through. Very nice too. Like everybody, like they're really, maybe it's early and they haven't gotten annoyed yet. I've never seen them annoyed. I'm not saying they get annoyed. I'm just saying that sometimes when you go to things like that, people are not as nice, but everybody here was like fantastically cool. They know it's Glenn with a Cactus Atlas, I guess, you know, I mean, come on. Well, what I've come to do is this here, this bridge scenic view. You know, usually when I come here, it's like later and this place is full. Like the parking lot's always full. There's a lot of people here. But this early in the morning, this is gonna be a treat, open dawn to dusk. And it's kind of a thrill, I'll be honest. It's, you know, that bridge up there is pretty intense, I think. Because you got like a highway basically running over the bridge. So you got semi trucks blazing by, and then like this really deep, vertiginous abyss below you that you're about to see. Again, if you've been with us again, come, let's do it again. You know, not doing that hike this morning was absolutely the right call. I'm not disappointed at all. It is hot already, oh my God. And now that the sun is out, even though it's early, this is insane. Why did I come back south again? Oh yeah, I live there. We'll get a little bit of exercise, you know, stretch my legs, move around before we drive. We have to walk up this little pathway here. You could see all of like the electric wires and forget the term for those things. But the dam is, I think, pretty much like if we could just go straight through stone. It's like on the other side here, but we're gonna get that view anyway, so you're about to see it. And they do have like, you know, if you have mobility issues or something, they have these like gentle sloping walkways instead of the stairs. But the stairs are the more direct, let's just get her done way to go. I'm getting a little bit of a workout here. We already got up to the top, see? There's only 3 other cars here at this point, so it's probably worth doing this early just to see what it's like early for you, if you like to come out before the crowds come, as this is a pretty popular spot, as I've said. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're almost out. And by the way, the Nevada-Arizona state line is basically right here where we're at. So I'm almost home. Oh, here goes the hat. I've taken it off. I have bedhead and I need to freshen up I need to buzz my head again. It's the Mike O'Callahan Pat Tillman Memorial Bridge. So you already have high winds, then you combine it with these trucks. Man, holy crap. I'm getting pushed back. I don't like it. Oh my God. I'm really getting pushed back. Holy smoke. It's insane. It's your first views of Hoover Dam, folks. The wind calms down when you get out here a little bit, I think. It's that corner that just rips you to shreds. You can drive across the dam, you see that car down there? So you can literally go from Nevada to Arizona and go from Pacific time to Mountain time, depending on the time of year. But right now it's the same time zone. All right, you can see the lake behind it. And you see like that white mineralized coloration on the rocks. It kind of shows you where the water levels have been the highest. And you can see how low they are. I don't remember for sure to compare to last time, but my gut tells me it's lower than the last time I saw it. And I will tell you, if you don't like heights, I would not recommend this at all. You know, it's very, even for me, it's a little tough to do, I'm not gonna lie. I would straight up just recommend leaving your hat in the car if you're gonna do this too. It's just one less thing you gotta finagle with. But see what I'm saying? It's exciting. You got trucks, semis speeding by at times, especially when it gets busier. And you have just the wind in general, a very well-known windy place. And then you got these extraordinary heights. Oh my goodness gracious, I do not like. I do not like. And there's a semi behind you, behind us as I say that. Oh gosh. I'm kind of woozy with this today. I'm fine if you want to give me a hard time. Some people just, you know, like me, kind of struggle a little bit. You know, looking down, leaning over this thing. I mean, that's far down. But there's the Grand Hoover Dam, originally known as the Boulder Dam. Wow, you could feel the bridge wiggle and vibrate under your feet as these giant semis drive by. Oh, I don't like this. I don't. We're gonna just go a little bit further here and then we're gonna go back. I've had my fill already. I think I'm gonna, since we went through the checkpoint, I think we're gonna drive down across the dam. That's the next order of business. We see it from up high. Here comes a semi, and there's the bridge shake, there's the bridge shake, oh my God. And you should get a view of this bridge from down there anyway, so you could see where I'm standing right now to understand why I'm so nervous. Because there's really nothing below us right now. You'd think it would get easier with each subsequent time you come out here, but to me it's almost like the opposite. It's like this is the place you want to try to get over your fear of these things, and it makes it worse. You know, let's look at some of these rocks too. Like that dark chocolate brown and black mixture in this canyon, I just think is very striking. And here we are. I don't know if we've technically left Nevada yet, officially. Maybe we did. Maybe the actual state line's in the middle of the bridge, I don't even know. But this is kind of the official Nevada sign. Can I offer anyone a lukewarm water? It kind of is sitting in my cooler. I took all the ice out yesterday to make unloading easier when I get home, so I don't have to empty the cooler out. One less thing to do. So I took all the remaining waters that I have and put them in there, and they sat in the empty cooler without ice in the heat yesterday afternoon. But surprisingly, I would say it's like room temperature water. It's not hot, it doesn't feel warm actually, not even lukewarm really, but sounds funny to say. Lukewarm water, anyone? All right, let's do this. Let's drive over the Hoover Dam. Like, you can actually drive over it if you didn't know that. And we should be able to cross time zone. Well, not time zones, because we're on the same. So I'll explain this whole time zone nonsense to you, so you understand why sometimes there's a time difference and why sometimes there's not. There's that bridge, by the way. Let me go slow here. You see that? I was right up there, like right, probably near the very center. Maybe a little bit right of center from our point of view right now. But you see what I'm saying? Anyway, so when you come here, you're gonna see clocks. You'll see there'll be some towers on the dam that'll say like Arizona, Nevada. And right now they should be the same time because the time zones are equivalent. Whereas in other times of the year, you could walk from one side of the bridge and then have to adjust your watch by an hour, you know, depending on which way you're walking or which direction you're going. So, and on this trip, I experienced this effect not here, but on the very first day when I was driving the coral pink sand dunes on the very first episode, I had to go from Pacific time, Arizona time, to Mountain time. So that meant, I don't know if it was noon in Arizona and I crossed the time zone, I basically would forward my clock to 1 p.m. So I lost an hour instantly. And then I was in Mountain time this entire trip until the day we came back into Nevada, which would have been the day that we left Castle Rock State Park in Idaho and drove to Great Basin National Park, I think was what we did that day. So as soon as we entered Nevada, I think I even remarked on it. I think the sign even said that, entering Pacific time. We were in the middle of nowhere, of course. So you got to see that in action a little bit. And it's weird because you're kind of, I guess, speaking in terms of longitude, it's like you could be in the same longitude and have to change time zones instead of latitude. Did I say that right? I think I did. But there's one of the clocks. See the blue clock? It says Nevada time. My time is 7:39 a.m. And I think that looks like 7:39 on that blue clock there. And then there's going to be a similar one on this side for Arizona. I think there's a plaque right here on the left that says that it indicates the state line. I do think it's like right in the center. Like we're right on the dam now. Remember we were up there looking at the dam? Like I am smack dab center on top of the dam right now. So if for whatever reason this thing just decided to fail and crumble in the dust, we'd be sent to the bottom of that canyon down there. And there's Arizona time, also shows now 7:40 a.m. I would say their clocks are accurate, or at least they match mine. So I'm now in Arizona, actually. We've officially, well, I don't know, I may have dabbled into the Arizona on top of the bridge. Probably not. If the center point is the center of the bridge or the dam, then I probably did not. This is probably the first time realistically that we dipped our toes into Arizona. But funny enough, I think we have to go back out the way we came in. Or maybe we don't. Maybe we can actually exit on the Arizona side. I've never done that before. But you can, I don't know if there's parking down here. There's parking back that way. There's a parking garage. And if you're gonna do the tour of the dam, which I highly recommend, that was amazing. You would park probably on the Nevada side. I don't know if they have parking here on the Arizona side, but I'm gonna see how far we can go. I've always turned around and gone back because usually I'm staying in Boulder City, so it doesn't make sense to go out this way, but I am curious, can we exit? There's a parking lot in 10 what? I don't know. 10 miles seems like a lot. And there's a parking lot right there. But you would have to walk kind of far to get down to the dam, I guess. Maybe a quarter of a mile, I don't know. I'm not too worried about it, but what about right here? There's an overlook. Maybe we will have to turn around, I don't know, because then they'd have to like man 2 different checkpoints, which would be more expensive for them. So I would be not surprised if this is a dead end. But I could be wrong. Maybe they do have checkpoints on both sides. So another parking lot, another Hoover Dam lookout. I'm waiting to see like a checkpoint gate or a requirement to turn around. I don't know. There's a road closed, so I wonder if I actually have to turn around in this parking lot. I might have to actually. But let's see. Oh yeah, so you can't go this way. So I guess we get to go over the dam one more time and go back into Nevada. Then we're gonna have to drive over the Mike O'Callahan Pat Tillman Bridge. I think I drive so slow that even the ranger was getting frustrated with me. I don't know. You know what we can do, what I am gonna do really quick is I'm gonna stop at this overlook here with a camera, and I wanna look at the water line that, you know, up close, because this is probably a better spot to see it like up close and personal actually. So I will do that. It'll be a really quick one. All right, so I've never really given this perspective on the show before, so I guess I'm adding something fresh for you. But there's the Mike O'Callahan Pat Tillman Bridge, of course, where we were standing way up there. And now you actually can see the backside of the dam, which is something I don't know if I've ever really shown before. We've been on the dam on foot, we've driven across it, but you can kind of see Hoover Dam from the backside. Maybe I'll go down there and we can get even better views. And by the way, you know, if you want to do that tour, there's a big visitor center. Oh, you can see that parking structure probably off in the distance. Yes, that's where I park. And then the visitor center is right there. And you buy your ticket. There's scheduled time tours and, you know, probably pretty crowded. But they take you into the dam, so you're literally inside of the structure. You learn really cool facts. You see some of the turbines and machinery. My favorite part is when you get to the wall of the dam, there are these openings. You saw like one of the vacation movies with Chevy Chase, and he like accidentally goes out a door and he's standing on the side of the dam. It's kind of like that actually, it really is. I think it's really what inspired that scene. Hustle over here. But you get to take turns and look, and you're looking down the sheer face of the dam, like you're right there. So it's thrilling too. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. But that was my favorite part of the tour, to be honest. Oh yeah, this is perfect. So I've never gotten this vantage point this close up, but you see that white colorization. That's probably some kind of mineralization. I think I've learned what it was and said what it was on a previous episode, but it really is indicative of how high the water line has been in the past. And it fluctuates, certainly, year after year, but to me it feels like it just gets lower and lower But it's a very subjective statement. I didn't get out there and measure it myself. I don't keep up with news on that, so I really couldn't tell you. But, you know, that's a pretty significant looking drop to me in level. But there probably have been times too where it gets so high that they actually have to let water flow through the dam. So hopefully, you know, I don't think we've gotten a lot of rain this year. I mean, I've been gone for 3 weeks, but I can tell you in Phoenix, we've had 1 day of rain or something and many months without it. And any rain we have gotten has been piddly. We don't get those summer monsoon storms out here as much, it seems, anymore like we used to. But these things can fluctuate year after year, and they oftentimes do. But I know cities and populations create something called an urban heat island effect. All the pavement retains more heat, so it has something to do with like storms not being able to push through urban areas, and they kind of go around them. So Las Vegas probably has the same phenomenon if I had to guess, but I am no meteorologist. But you can also see where they have barriers to prevent. I think there's a first barrier out that way. You know, boats and watercraft are not allowed to get past that, obviously, for security reasons. You don't want somebody pulling a boat up to the dam and you know, exploding some giant bomb. But now I find myself almost alone out here again. Being out here early in the morning pays off if you want to skip the crowds and during the week. And over here, you can see more of that water line, but now you can actually see the back of the dam. So it looks smaller from behind, doesn't it, than that facade in the front? Because it kind of technically is, I guess. It goes under the water, of course, so it's probably equally as tall, but you know, it's more obscured. But I think, I even forget now the technology and what all this stuff is, but you're looking at 1930s handiwork in concrete, and those things I think suck in water and probably feed them into the turbines, and probably has something to do with overflow if the lake level gets too high, something like that. That's why you would take the dam tour, and actually you can see the visitor center. It's kind of got the glass windows and the copper roof, the little pointy roof near the center of the screen. I'll zoom in. So there's displays in there like a museum. You can take the tour. You don't have to take the tour. You can walk around the top if you want. I think the tour in the parking garage are the only things that you would pay money for if I remember correctly. Otherwise, I think you could probably have a pretty cheap date here if you wanted to. And I don't remember the price of the tour, but like I said, I did do a video where I combined Boulder Dam Hotel, or the Boulder Hotel, the historic hotel, the dam. I think we walk on top of it, we go up to the bridge. That's the one where you get to see me poking through the side of the dam. I like that video a lot. I don't think we got a lot of views on it, but we'll put a link in the description down below to check it out. It was a good vibe. That was a good day. We'll zoom back out again too, and look at this really cool view. If we had more time, I'd totally go at least walk on top of the dam, but you know, I've got places to be, as you know. Kind of I'm happier that we ended up doing this instead of the hike this morning. It almost seems more appropriate in a way, because we're kind of straddling the state borders, going from our last state of the tour, Nevada, into my home state, where I guess I said Nevada is the last state because it's the last state where I'm spending the night technically, even though part of our video does occur in Arizona, of course. But it's, you know, it seems more appropriate to straddle the state line and to observe rather than just do the tunnels. But the tunnels will be done, I promise you. I'm gonna make it a goal within the next year to do that full hike. It's like 7.5 miles total, because you have to start, go to the end, come back, is my understanding. Unless there's a way to park on this side, like in the parking garage, and do it in reverse, then I think you'd actually be able to hit those train tunnels sooner, because they're on the latter half of the hike, as it pertains to the main trailhead that we drove by this morning off of Lake Mead. All right, let's get one more view here of this beautiful man-made dammed up lake where the Colorado River is technically passing through. And one other cool thing that I'm going to point out is on the other side of that, where you pretty much have the Colorado River continue, there's a beach called Willow Beach. So you'd go into Arizona, you drive that way, and probably a few miles that way, and there's like this turnoff, and that would be a great launching off point for a kayaking trip, whether you do it through a company or you do it my way and have your own kayak, that I did. There's this place called the Emerald Caves, which is a very popular tourist thing. I had a good time on it. I mean, it's all right. It's not, you know, it's something different, but I don't know if it's gonna blow your mind, but to me, you get to go through the really tall canyon a little bit on a kayak. And rather than just the Emerald Cave, you do get to see some Hoover Dam era history. Like I think these things that measured the water levels on the river and stuff like that built up into the side of the cliff. So there's more than just the cave to check out, but just a beautiful scenic paddle anyway. And of course, you know we got a video for that, so I'll put a link to that one in the description. So many videos I've made, so many times have I stayed at the Sands Hotel to do things like that, to tour Hoover Dam, to do the kayaking trip, to go off-roading out into the Mojave. This area is very rich, and I've not even I've just popped the top on it, I think. So that's why it's a frequent destination for me. It's got so much to offer: water, desert, history, you got it all. So keep that in mind. And once again, I'll plug the Sands Motel. If you want a really cheap, clean, safe, quiet place to stay, you're doing boating, kayaking, whatever, you can even tow a boat. And there's big, long parking spots at the Sand, and usually there are people that have that. The Sands Motel is a good place to consider. And just to be clear, I don't have any deals with the Sands Motel or anything like that. I'm just doing it out of the goodness of my heart. But they earned it. They've earned it time and time again, and this time was no exception. And now the bittersweets begin. What the sweet part is, my coffee is still waiting for me in the cab of the truck. I just got it started. I'm starting to feel the caffeine buzz building up. Gonna enjoy that. The other sweet part is like this 3-week journey is coming so close, hours away from me being able to just kick back on my couch, watch a movie. I think we're gonna order Chinese food tonight. We decided to celebrate, to splurge a little bit, because that's not cheap anymore, I'm telling you. At least not where I live. But still, I think she and I both feel we earned it. I earned it from doing the trip. She earned it. She had to be alone for 3 weeks and deal with everything at home. So I think we both very much earned it. So that's another sweet thing. But the bitter is just leaving places that I adore. You know, you get to escape for a little bit, and fortunately I make some money doing this, so it's kind of a job, I would say. Doesn't pay all the bills, as I said before, but I don't know. It's taken me a long time in life to accept it and to learn it, but I belong in the outdoors, I think. I like remote. The more remote, the better. The deeper the forest, the better. So it's really hard for me to put that aside and have to return to kind of the urban lifestyle and to just kind of just everything that it represents. And all I can really do at this point is be mindful not to get sucked back into the traps of like doom scrolling on social media and all the things that being on the grid invite. So that's really my mission going back, is to continue this. I cleaned my brain out, basically. This trip was basically me taking a vacuum cleaner in here, vacuuming it out all the crud and cleaning the filter. And now I'm going home with a clean filter, and I have to do maintenance, exercise, right? And just don't automatically go to the doom scrolling and all the stupid crap that technology invites, right? So, and hopefully the series that I've done has been something that kind of gets you, if you're tired of that, hopefully this has helped you, given you a place of calm, peace, and reflection if you can't make it out and do these things. I hope I at least gave that to you on this trip. A little bit of retrospection. And on this note, we will leave you here. Next time we'll have some reflection from the trip, a few parting thoughts, and discuss what's next for us. Join us then.